here at the OSU Botanic Gardens with John Weir, a research associate with the NREM department. And John, can you tell us what we've just done here?
Well, we come in and we did a burn on the native grass plantings and the native grass areas here at the Botanical Garden.
Okay, so this was a planned, prescribed burn, correct?
It was a planned burn, that's correct.
And so what did you have to do in order to plan this burn?
Well, first thing you want to do is, again, make sure the area that you're burning, you've got some kind of fire breaks or area that you're going to keep the fire contained in. So here at the Botanical Garden, we had the walking trails, we had the creek, and the areas were mowed really short around our native grass sites. So that served as our fire breaks for the areas that we were going to burn. Okay. And then from doing that, then we went in and we notified the local authorities of what we were doing. We had to get a hold of OSU Fire Marshal, OSU Police, and the Stillwater Fire Department, let them know that we're burning. Again, being within the city limits, we had to do that, but we were on OSU property, so we follow what the OSU guidelines are for OSU property, and so we were allowed to burn on that.
Okay, so there's a lot involved before you just go out.
Yeah, you don't just walk out and strike them and walk out and say, boy, today looks like a good day to burn, and I just go throw a match out and walk back in and grab a glass of tea and watch TV.
Right, so after you've talked to the authorities and all the appropriate people, there is some to looking at the environmental conditions,
right,
though.
Then we're going to look at weather conditions of what it's going to do. Again, we don't want the wind just blowing a hurricane. We do want some wind because we want to know where's the fire going to, and also where's the smoke heading. So again, with here at the Botanical Garden, we are on the north side of Highway 51, so we burned with a south wind, so we didn't put any kind of smoke. Even though our burns were small and didn't produce a lot of smoke, we didn't want to put smoke across the highway, so we burned actually with a southeast wind, so we could take it away from campus, away from any kind of housing, so it went back to the northwest where there's very little houses or any kind of problems, and we kept it off the highway.
That makes sense. Yeah, a lot of times you think about burning on a calm day, but in this case you use the wind to your favor.
We'll use the wind to your favor to manage your smoke. And again, so you want winds somewhere around 4 to 15 mile an hour, because if the wind gets below 4 mile an hour, it becomes light and variable. And so that variable gets you because it'll blow 1 minute, one direction, then the next minute it's blowing another direction, and so you got your fire going every different direction, and you got smoke going all kinds of different directions too, and so that causes lots of problems. So you want a known wind direction and within a good conditions. And then relative humidity is one of the next things. Again, we picked a good high humidity day because that way we're not out here wanting just a really hot fire. We're just trying to burn and remove the old growth, vegetation off the old growth and mulch off of it and get a good burn. We're not trying to create just the hottest fire we can get. We're not trying to kill cedar or knock brush back.
Right, you can see there's the pine tree still doing fine behind us.
Yeah, it's still fine. And so it was a very humid day that we picked here, and so again, those kind of conditions, and that makes it a whole lot safer too as well. There wasn't an issue about it going anywhere, any kind of spot fires, any kind of problem.
And you can see not all of it burned behind us, and there's a couple of reasons. There is some cool season grass coming up, but that's okay, right? I mean, that's not the purpose, is to completely burn it all.
And that's what a native, a natural native setting of a grassland, shrubland, a native setting. That's what it is. It is a very mosaic, patchy landscape. It's not all one species of grass. It's a very diverse landscape, and that's what you get with these kind of fires. With a patchy mosaic type of fire, you'll get areas that good green fresh growth. There'll be probably some different vegetation, different plants come up that you won't see in the areas that didn't burn. But the next time you go to burn this, those areas will burn better that didn't burn because they're accumulating more fuel than these areas that you have burned before.
And you say fuel. Now we're not talking like typical gasoline over there.
And that's what I call vegetation is fuel. For me, it's fuel.
So we're talking about the dry material is the fuel for the fire that will cause it to grow.
That's
right. So over here we've burned a pasture. Now on the other side of the property we burned the prairie that was installed about 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
Why are we burning our prairie?
Because again, we planted it about 3 years ago. It's when it was planted. Again, it had some stuff coming in on it that we was wanting to kind of knock back some of the cool season stuff. Because again, it's a warm season native grass planting with again some other forbs and other things that are in it. And so an early spring burn is very favorable for those. And so again, so we can knock back, but also again the benefits of the fire that you're going to get to those native plants. Native plants, our native grasses, native forbs, are all adapted to fire. They need fire to be a a complete part of their growth cycle. They're adapted to getting burned off and then regrowing back in. They come back real quick following fire. And so they're all adapted to that.
And if somebody can't burn, mowing is an option?
Mowing is an option, weed eating, whatever you've got to. If you can't burn or do that, you're not going to get the benefit of fire. It's not like fire,
right?
By no means. You do get some things. Again, you get some of that removal of old growth, getting all that knocked back so you can see your fresh green growth a lot better and help with a little bit of the vigor of the plants. But again, you don't get the nutrient cycling that you get with fire. Again, the benefits to microorganisms that are in the soil and all that, you don't get all those benefits.
Okay, excellent. And is there any advice you have for anybody else? Is there education classes that they can take about this?
We have through the NREM extension, we have a lot of fact sheets on fire, conducting burns, fire videos. So we've got a lot of information out there. There's also groups. We have what are called prescribed burn associations scattered around the states, where groups of landowners get together, work together to help each other burn property. And again, a lot of them we think of them as large tracts of land, but they burn. A lot of times they burn 10, 20 acres. Smaller tracts. Again, it's whatever you want to do. And so if you had an area that you're wanting to burn, be involved with one of those burn associations, and there's good information about that.
Because it is definitely a team effort. It's nice having plenty of hands out
plenty
here.
Plenty of help, plenty of equipment. It's always good, makes it safer, makes it easier to do and less worry.
Right, okay. Well, thank you so much for telling us about this prescribed burn.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.